getting to the goods. I tell you. Okay, so principle 1. No one may be held criminally liable for any act or omission that did not constitute a criminal offense under national or international law at the time when such conduct occurred. These principles of legality also requires that the law be publicly and sufficiently accessible and the criminal liability foreseeable and capable of being clearly understood in its application and consequences. For example, you can't just arbitrarily accuse a mother, for example, of neglecting her child or child abuse when there's no police reports, there's no mandated reports, there's no issues going on. You can't just arbitrarily accuse somebody of that, and you can't just change custody that fast if it's going to destroy their lives. That's a perfect example. You know how the criminal law says you're supposed to be able to face your accuser. Well, not in family law. They don't like to help you there. Okay, so the crimes must be classified and described in precise and unambiguous language that narrowly defines the punishable offense with a clear definition of the criminalized conduct, establishing its elements and the factors that distinguish it from conduct that is not criminally prescribed. Criminal law must not prescribe any act or omission in terms that are vague, imprecise, arbitrary, or overly broad. Criminal law must not be construed broadly to an accused person's disadvantage. In the case of ambiguity, the definition of the particular offense should be interpreted in favor of the accused. As long as, generally speaking, of course. Principle 2, harm principle. Criminal law may only prescribe conduct that inflicts or threatens substantial harm to the fundamental rights and freedoms of others, or to certain fundamental public interests, namely national security, public safety, public order, public health, or public morals. Criminal law measures justified on these grounds must be narrowly construed, and the assertion of these grounds by the state must be continuously scrutinized. Sure. Principle 3, individual criminal liability. No one may be held criminally liable for any act or omission except on the basis of their individual criminal liability for such conduct. Right. In other words, you can't target anybody. Principle 4, voluntary act requirement. No one may be held liable for a criminal offense unless that person has engaged in a voluntary act or omission as defined in that offense. Criminal liability may not be based on thoughts, intentions, beliefs, or status alone. Well, with the exception, you can't put intention in there because intent is how criminal law is determined. You got to get that word out of there. Yeah. Intentions is, you're not allowed to use that word. I know what you're trying to say, but you can't use that. Intent is how criminal law is determined. What was the level of intent? Recklessness? Was it, maliciousness? Yeah. Principle 5, mental state requirement. By the way, when are they mentally evaluating anybody? How come these people have gone in and out of jail, and narcissism still isn't being acknowledged? Why are families able to scapegoat on anybody? That's a crime. People who are sacrificing other people, scapegoating, that's a crime. Families, narcissists, that's a crime. We need to be mentally evaluating these people also, so that way we can be catching narcissists. They're violent in society, and don't try to say that that's okay. We need to get that in check. Something. Okay, so no one may be held liable for a criminal offense unless that person has committed the material elements. Okay, this is getting out of control. Of that offense with the mental state required in the definition of the offense. Oh my God. Such as intent, purpose, knowledge, recklessness, or criminal negligence. Every criminal offense that is punishable with deprivation of liberty must include a mental state requirement with respect to each material element. You know what you're going to make them do? You're going to make them call everybody mental. I don't understand why you guys did that. I got to talk to you people. Wow, this almost seems like an underhanded agenda. Well, that wouldn't be the first time. Principle 6, grounds for excluding criminal liability. Wow, and there still is not yet one example. No one may be held criminally liable for an offense if that person has a lawful defense for their conduct. Oh my God. including that the conduct is justified or excused, such as by reason of necessity, self-defense, or duress. Okay. I get it. The person who wrote this thing has been criminalized. But you're not thinking about the victims here at all, okay? That's why, you know what? No. This is, my solution is going to be the only solution. That's all there is to it. We're putting the truth on the record. 24 hours of it. We're going to pay everybody putting their truth on the record. But we're not going to let any more of this bullshit happen. No more bullshit. No more lies. No more bullshit. No more he said, she said. No more what ifs. That's the only answer. End of story. I just don't want to read this anymore. I'm about ready to throw up. Human rights restrictions on criminal law. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. Legitimate exercise of human rights. These people aren't even talking to like the countries. They're talking to like the world and saying, you take this under your wing. This is weird. Where's the United Nations? This is not the way you do things. There's something wrong with this. And you know, let's talk about this for a second. Were you guys in America? How many of the people on this board of jurists came from the United States? Because the United States hasn't ratified anything. Let's take a look at that for a second, because I'm serious. Check this out. This is such lies. It's the United Nations, right? United States ratified treaties. Look, they're such liars. Watch. Treaties in force. No, it's not this one. It's you. I don't think that's the one I wanted, the map. Yeah, maybe that's it. Not quite, but let me go back. Oh, I know what I need to do. Not put United States, like the world. United Nations. My bad. Like treaty collection, there you go, something like that. This one. Sorry, but this is important because they're liars. Here we go. Look, who's orange? Who's blue? Who's baby blue? Okay, so there's somebody in the red? Who? Bhutan. There's 0 to 4 members that are in the red. Bhutan is one of them. Don't even know where they are. Niue, never heard of them. Palau, never heard of them. Tonga, Tuvalu. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's because there's 0 to 4. They've only ratified 0 to 4 of the total treaties, which is 18. So that's who's in the red, right? They've only ratified 0 to 4, right? And in the 5 to 9 section is where United States of America is. But let's take a look at the United States of America. They must have paid for this. They're all, well, we don't really want to look like we're in the red with these no-name countries no one's ever heard of. You're right, nobody does. Well, now. Okay, you're thankful. Great. Here we go. Okay, ratification of what? Is this Chile? Come on, people. Can I not get some... Lame. Okay, the point I'm making here is that United States has only ratified 4. Why won't it open? I'm not even going to worry about it. International conventions. Okay, so that. I should be able to recognize this. Okay, I don't know if that's America. I don't know if it's not, but you can check that out for yourself. It doesn't. America belongs right here in the red with these no-namers. That's right. Out of 18, sickening. Come on now. That's what I'm saying. What are we talking about? Why are you making documents for the whole entire world when nobody gives a straight F-U-C-K, straight the truth? Okay? I'm just saying. You've got to be honest with yourselves, people. This is a joke is what this looks like. But anyway, it's exhaustion. You're repeating yourself over and over again. Criminal law and prohibited discrimination. Yep. No examples still. Criminal liability may not be based on discrimination. You know what? Those are already the laws, dear. What we need to not put any effort and energy into is writing this document. What we need to do is hold the law enforcement accountable. Stop allowing there to just be a district attorney being the only prosecutor. That's what we need to do is we need to reform law. We need to bring evidence to the table. We need to allow people to have actual access to the courts. We need to fire attorneys. Oh, I got a whole plan for this. This document, in my opinion, darling, is fired. Well done. A nice attempt. It's a beginning stage, but it's not where we need to go. And that's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have it. Isn't that right? That's right. A little exhaustive here. I think it just says all the same stuff, and it really didn't accomplish anything in my book. And I'm one that's being absolutely, I'm an aggrieved party. My child is somewhere out there that I don't even know where she is. We need to be taking a very serious approach to these things and not just making it look like a disgruntled, discriminatory, someone that's been discriminated against is disgruntled. And all of a sudden you get to say something? What about those of us who've been disgruntled for all these years and nobody gave a shit about us? And you're still not acting like we exist. Family court, come on now. Don't just throw in the abortion right. We don't want abortion. We want men to stop trying to seduce us. We want men to stop intentionally impregnating us. We want men to stop expecting us to be obedient wives. We want the demographers to stop expecting us to give them children. We want the stakeholders to stop treating us like human capital. We want the money market men to stop betting hedge funds against us. I mean, come on. Let's get with the real program. They're lying about genetic science, too. They don't want to admit that mitochondria is what's really going on because man wants to be equal to mother every time. Not going to work for me. Anyhow, this was a nice attempt, but in my opinion, failed. Love you guys. Ciao.